Bon dia, and welcome also from my side to IDC Digital Innovation Connection. My name is Roberta Bigliani, and I'm managing IDC Insights in Europe. And today, what I would like to share with you is a little bit of perspective on how we can, as a utilities industry, unlock the next normal and be successful in the transition we are all going through. A transition that I have started some time ago and is continuing despite disruption, and is actually, from some perspective, accelerated by the disruption we were going through in 2020. And I think that there is a transition that is really enabled by the fusion of the evolution that we can see both on the energy technology side and the digital technology side. So what I would really like to focus today is to think about the key areas that can really be fundamental for us as an industry, for us as company, to really unlock and be able to be successful in the next normal. And of course, these areas are operation, the aspect of working, the intelligence, the digital infrastructure, the connectedness, customer, digital innovation, trust, which includes security, of course, and industry ecosystems. Unfortunately, today, because of time, we cannot explore all of these dimensions. So I will focus on some of them to give a little bit of food for thoughts for action. And while I'm doing that, let me also stress the point that each of these dimensions need to be unlocked. But you also have to look at all these dimensions in a sort of holistic way, because they are unique, but also very much interrelated. So let's get started, and let's think about customer. Now, if we think about the challenges we are all experiences as utility, or more specifically energy retailer, there are two elements that are really impacting our agenda. The first one is digital channel. They need to be improved. There is no doubt on that. And the other element is the element of being capable of starting and growing new non-commodity revenue streams. And these are challenges that as the industry has been trying to tackle and is tackling with a lot of attention. But we have seen it. The Net Promoter Score is still not positive in the majority of European countries, and actually at global level. And so those are areas that we really have to focus and consider. And what we think is that is really important, if you combine the two dimensions, the two challenges that I was describing 1 minute ago, to basically try to capture the spend with an integrated digital storefront, a digital storefront that can allow me to start the buying cycle, and completing it. If I want to, again, jump in and jump out, I can have the possibility to go on different channels to chat with the person, but it's an integrated and end-to-end storefront where I can find information, I can find the offering, I can find personalized aspect that makes sense for me as a customer. So what is the aspect to consider, of course, is the just the customer experience overall, as for someone that is already a customer, but how I can trigger and with a sort of more commerce platform logic, a little bit more spend for the new product and services that as utility I'm trying to push on the market. And also understanding that the buyer are not just different as single personas, but are also different in terms of ages. So what we need to think about is to create platforms that are actually coping well with the different generations, and taking into consideration one thing that was coming up from one of our survey, that is that the younger generation are a little bit more have a higher propensity in considering and buying new products and services, especially if you think about e-mobility type of value proposition. So that's something very important to consider. A quick jump into another dimension, which is the dimension of future of work. We have all experienced a dramatic change in the way we are working, and that was forced for the disruption we had because of the pandemic this year. But what we did was just reacting. What we are now doing is thinking about an hybrid working model by design, because we want to leverage the talent that is maybe not located in the city. I have my headquarters or my offices. I want to think about working models that are capable of taking out the most from our the employee and the external contractor to really create a sort of competitive advantage. And even if I'm not in a competitive business like the one of network, is really a differentiator in terms of granting the quality of services that is needed in any case. And so what we are expecting and what we actually are also recommending a little bit is the fact that we need to think about this hybrid working model and really think about creating a sort of technical parity. So it doesn't matter if I'm working in the office or if I'm working from home. I need to be a part of an infrastructure that is allowing me to perform identically in the office and from home, if, of course, I'm a knowledge worker that can work from home, and can keep me interconnected in any moment. And the same is even if I'm a field worker and I'm having all the technology and all the I would say the augmentation capability to better perform my job on the field and be connected with the company anyway. Because I need to feel this sense of belonging that will be very important to maintain if you think about again more and more remote worker, or as I'm expecting, a balance between remote and office work. But one thing that we think it's very important to consider in this area to really unlock the power of the future of work is also to think about introducing not just hybrid working model, but paying attention in deploying and monitoring the well-being and the enhanced personal safety. We have seen, and there are a lot of discussion about this moment of disruption that is really creating a little bit of difficulty in terms of right balance between work and life. I was discussing with some HR yesterday, and they were talking about, again, we have to create harmony, and well-being and mental health is particularly important. So we think that this will be area where it's important for utilities to take action to increase the employee experience. So hybrid model by design and well-being and personal safety attention. Let me move to another dimension, which is the dimension of intelligence. And maybe on this one, I would like to spend a little bit more time because it's really important, and I think it's an area where we can do much more as an industry. To be sure that we are all on the same page when I'm talking about intelligence, let me try to share a little bit of a definition that we have created in IDC, and which describe the intelligence of a company, like the capability to learn, then synthesize the information and deliver insights at scale that can enable automatic autonomy decision or decision taken by human. Again, the capacity to learn, look at it as the IQ of a person is the IQ of the organization. But each of these three dimensions needs to be present, because if not, you learn, but you're not able to synthesize, and then you're not taking action. And those three dimensions are actually the one that can really enable the customer satisfaction, the innovation, the productivity, or being faster on execution on the market. So all these elements are very, very important. Now, what I would like to share with you is a way that we should think about to develop our, let's say, company intelligence and think about the path that we have to follow. And let me oversimplify a little bit by saying, and using the rule of thumb of 80-20. Let's say that in our industry, there are processes that are 20% structured and more ad hoc. And then there are data that are 20% organized and 80% unorganized. Now, if this is the context where we apply intelligence, well, the first area is, of course, where we can have structured processes and organized information. That's the area of the typical enterprise application. So even the ERP, the customer service platform. And if you think about what is happening, there is more and more intelligence that is already embedded in these applications. That's an important area, of course, to increase our company intelligence. But then there is the other area, the area of the business analytics, if you will, where the processes are a bit more ad hoc, but the information are anyway organized. And this is the area where we think you should focus on moving towards more sophisticated and what we like to call augmented analytics. And then there is the other area, which is the area of structured processes and organized information, is the area where workflow play very well. And so we recommend to think about how you can automate and using, for instance, robotic process automation, or if you will, intelligent process automation, to really change the execution of those elements and introduce workflow management capabilities. With that, you have fixed 34% of the needs. Sorry, 36% of the needs. But there is still an area, and that's the area where I think we need the more complicated one, if you will, which is the area of the line of business, where the decisions are taken. And that's the area where we need to think about model like the digital twins, things that allow us to connect and create loop on the decision from where I assign the resources, from a strategic perspective, from where I get the value, how I execute, what the actual reaction need to be because of what is happening, having situational awareness, visibility. So to conclude on this, it's for me very, very important that we have the right way of looking at the different path of intelligence and thinking about how we can take out the most from the technology we have available, of course, on the market, and we can apply in our company. The element of automation is important in any way, and if I can just mention a little bit the area of the 64% and the area of operations, that's an area where we are expecting a lot of investment in terms of creating more intelligence at the edge, to double the penetration of predictive and prescriptive maintenance. And that's again the evolution towards the predictive grid that we are all talking about. And of course, also for other areas related to distributed energy management or network integrity. Now, let's move to one more element, which is the digital innovation. And on this, what I would like to highlight is a little bit the fact that if you think about what is happening, we really need to think about a different approach to application delivery. Now, just to share a little bit of data, in IDC, we are expecting that in these 4 years, there will be 500 million of half a billion of new applications developed. And this is the same number of applications that have been developed in the last 40 years. Then we also asked to utilities if they are planning to have more app, sometimes even task app or small area focus apps and application, and of course the answer is yes. And the point is that when we asked about how are you planning to develop those applications, 40% of utilities say that they are planning to do it internally, completely internally, so not with partners or not buying commercial product. Of course, they will continue to do other things, but for these new apps, there is a strong focus on internal development. Now, if that's the case, I think it's really important to consider low-code platform as part of the DNA, as part of the activity that all of us is doing. And low code offer a lot of benefits to utilities, because of course it's not just about an increased speed of delivery and productivity of the developers, but it's also the possibility to take on board the business user to basically develop those kind of applications. And actually, there are significant utilities that have created in the operation area people that are in charge of process automation and optimization that are really not IT people, that are actually already creating applications that are making much easier to work through some processes. So again, that's an area where we recommend you to look at significantly, and also to basically find a way to combine a little bit intelligent process automation with low-code platform. And one of our predictions actually of this year goes in that direction. One last comment on something that I feel is particularly important, which is the industry ecosystems. And again, this is a very wide topic, but what I would like to just put to your attention, capture your attention, is really about thinking of a different way of creating value by approaching the ecosystem. An ecosystem that can help you in creating new value proposition, for instance, in the personal mobility and e-mobility story specifically, or in the smart home. We have been working on smart home, I think, in the last 10 years with limited success, I would say. Maybe because we are not thinking about the right way of building the ecosystem, and another area where I think it would be interesting to put our attention is, as an industry, is the future of things, or the idea of helping companies in designing, producing, distributing, and disposing things that are embedding the circular economy principle, and maybe are produced with renewable energy. So again, as a utility, what we have to understand is what is the play we want to have in delivering new kind of experience to the individuals. And in the moment we understand that, what are the area where we want to invest, and the business model that we can redesign and rethink by not being utility-centric, but being people-centric, and understanding that I have to think not to the traditional value chain of delivery, but really to a system of, to an ecosystem delivery, because I will need capabilities that I don't have, I can find in some other partners. And so I need to understand how to build this ecosystem, what is the right ecosystem for the purpose I have to create value to the individuals, and then to try to, of course, have the best position in this ecosystem play to take out the best value from the experience that is delivered. And with that, I would really like to thank for your attention. And again, please reach out for any further discussion. It was a pleasure to be with you today. Thank you. Obrigada.